And juror 6, let me ask you, I know you didn't raise your paddle, but why do you think some people don't believe like the mainstream media or sort of the official versions of events that the government gives to the people?
Well, I think that there's so much information out there that's being given, and a lot of it, especially from the media, is not correct, not true, or not true news stations or media stations.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard to know what is true and what is not.
Okay. And I know you have the microphone, but I will open this up to the group, kind of a corollary question. Does anybody sort of avoid like the mainstream news because they don't trust it? All right. So we have 4, and you can put your paddle down once I say your name. 4, 5, 10, 11, 21, 22, 24, 31, 50, 61, and 63. Juror 5, since you're in front of me. Can you just let me know a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think that news agencies tend to slant. Some will slant one way, some will slant the other way. I am the type of person that will not watch something or listen to something and believe it. I want to look a little further, kind of peel the onion back and see where the truth is, because there's usually a little nugget of truth somewhere in something. So I tend to watch, if I do watch the news, I try not to very often. It's very negative. But I will watch one station and then I will watch an opposing station just so I can see both sides of it and get a little bit, I think, more accurate understanding of what's really going on.
And those of y'all that raised your paddle, does anybody have sort of a different reason, or is for avoiding just the mainstream news, or does anybody have a different reason that they'd like to share? Okay, I see no paddles. And juror 39. I'm going to go back to you. I know you did not raise your paddle. But how do you feel about that in terms of like the trust of the government, the media? What are your thoughts about that?
I'm okay with the media, well, some channels, but the government, I don't particularly like this government at all.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm the only Democrat on my street. So, but I generally believe the media, though, most stations.
Judge, if I may approach. Yes. And so, switching topics, another question to the group is, I know you, the judge talked to you yesterday, I guess, about the Mr. Williams' right not to testify and how that can't be used against him. But I want to kind of flip the script and talk about, hypothetically, if you were to hear from Mr. Williams, if you were a juror. And what I'd like to ask is there anybody who, simply because he's the accused in the case, he has an interest in the case, if just because of that, if he were to testify, you would just think he's lying or just, not believe what he said because the fact that he's the accused? And so does anybody feel that way? Okay, I don't see any paddles. Mr. Cabrera, or excuse me, juror 12, why wouldn't you just automatically discredit what he had to say?
It was mentioned earlier that the defendant does not have to testify. And that's one way to put it. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I mean, after all, we were informed that there's evidence and everything, but as I mentioned earlier before, I have to see everything. And
You have what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
sorry?
I didn't hear what you just said.
No,
He has to see everything. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, sir. I'm sorry.
yeah, and again, I mean, whether he says something or not, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, we'll be provided with facts, evidence, testimonies, and whatever comes with the case. So whether he testify or not, I'm not going to hold it against him, because I mean, he can say he's innocent, and it could be otherwise, or he can say he's guilty, and it could be otherwise. So I'll probably just wait until I have to see everything and hear everything before I can make a determination.
Yeah, and
That's
I
the
guess.
reason.
Oh, I didn't want to cut you off. Sorry. I guess, I've heard jurors before say, well, somebody accused of a crime is going to say anything to get off on, anything to save themselves. So, like, I wouldn't believe what they say, which some people feel that way. And so that's really what I'm getting at. And so, but it sounds like, do you feel that way, that you would just automatically discredit what he has to say because he's the accused?
I wouldn't do that because, again, I need to see the facts and I need to hear the facts also.
Mhm. Okay. Going back to juror 40. Yeah. Sorry. How do you feel about that? If you were to hear from the accused, is it something that you would just automatically disregard because you're going to think they'd say anything to save themselves?
No, because if he's testifying on his behalf, you have to take.
Could
that
you
into
speak
account.
up and repeat what you said, please?
If he's testifying on his behalf, then you have to take that into account when you're making your decision, whether you're going to decide guilt versus innocence. It's everyone's verbiage that is being used, and his silence does not negate that he could be innocent.
Okay. If you were a juror in the case, would you want to hear from the person who was accused? Understanding the law says you don't have to, but I'm just curious if you would want to, if that would matter to you.
Personally, it was going back to the idea of motive. Yeah, everybody wants to know why, and sure, I'd like to hear what he has to say, but if he's not required to by law and it's not going to make a difference in the outcome of the case one way or the other based on the way the law's been described, then he doesn't have to.
Okay. If you could pass it forward to juror 30, forward to. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
So how do you feel? Like, would you want to hear from Mr. Williams?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The burden is on the other party to show evidence that he made the crime. That's his right to speak or not to speak.
If he were to testify hypothetically, would you consider what he had to say, or would you kind of think, oh, he's accused of something, he's going to say whatever, just to hopefully get off?
Yes, I will consider what he has to say on his behalf because this is serious. So I will consider that.
Okay. Would anybody not consider what Mr. Williams had to say if you were to hear from him? I see no paddles. If I could just follow up the one question with juror 62.
Yes.
If we could get the mic back to juror 62. Hi. I just want to clarify what I think you had already said when I was talking to you before. But I think that you had said that based on the nature of the case, nature of the charge, that you cannot, as we sit here right now, fully presume Mr. Williams innocent. Is that correct?
In terms of the law, yes, I can presume him innocent right now, but in terms of my own, personal feelings, no.
Okay. have nothing further. Thank you all.
Council approach? So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break. We're going to break for two reasons. One, the attorneys need to confer with each other, like separately, and then confer with me so we can do the jury selection. So they need time for all of that. And then we also need an opportunity for a lunch. So it's going to be 2 hours. So we're going to ask you to come back at 2:30. When you come back at 2:30, it is likely that we will have jurors selected to try the case. Enjoy your lunch break. No texting, tweeting, blogging, emailing, sending or accepting messages, communications of any kind about this case or your jury service. Enjoy your lunch. And no watching the news media, no listening to newspapers, no communication with anybody that may tell you what's going on the outside world. You're a bubble. We're all a bubble right now. Nothing's going on the outside other than what you're hearing in this courtroom. Enjoy your lunch break. Please, those of you who did not sign in at the jury office, please sign in at the jury office.